This is the Henry's Child Podcast. Am I crazy? Or am I just raving?
Welcome to episode 76 of the Am I Crazy or Am I Just Raving podcast. Are you more of the crazies or are you more of a raver today? Oh, it's terrible. It sounded so much better in my head. I'm not really that good with introductions, but then again, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know that already. The purpose of today's podcast is to make you aware of a show coming up on September 30th at the Wow Hall in Eugene. It's put together by our drummer, Toby Lugo, and it's 5 bands, $5. Old school, straight to it, love it. It's great. And the intention of this, on one level, is to really stand in the possibility of bringing live music back to the masses. And, you know, it's like I said in the past, it's impossible, almost virtually impossible to compete with Netflix and Xbox and YouTube and all that stuff. But the reality is people are coming more online and that life is truly experiential. And there is nothing like live music to fill that void, right? So that's kind of, you know, one sort of on the meta sense of why Toby put this together. But then, you know, it's getting out there and having brothership and fellowship with other bands, people that are still doing it after all this time, and being able to create music in a live sense is an amazing thing. So the intention of today's podcast is to actually show you the strings between the bands that are playing and Henry's Child. So here we're actually on the website here. And if you're just listening to this podcast, I'm actually on the live shows performances tab of the Henry's Child website. And I put some links down here to the other bands and where to be able to listen to their music. And I'm going to kind of just review them real quick. So Sad Reason is opening the show, and Sad Reason is really great. They are a who's who of Eugene music that is playing the Above record that was released in 1995 from Mad Season. And Mad Season was a who's who of the Seattle scene. Sorry. So it's really a who's who of Eugene playing this who's who of Seattle. And singing that night is going to be Brian Forrester, our very own Brian Forrester from 7 Second Circle. So you will definitely want to go right when the doors open and be able to see Sad Reason perform. And I think you're going to be surprised if you haven't seen these guys who's in this band. It's really actually amazing. I'm very stoked to see them, especially Walt Coates playing the Wow Hall. I mean, he probably came and saw us at the Wow Hall dozens of times before. So I'm glad that he's able to get up there and be on the stage. Next is Hypersloth, and Hypersloth is another Eugene staple. The guitar player of Hypersloth is Issa, and Issa was one of the main guitar players in We Have Guns with Toby Lugo. So that is the string back to us. I'm not really quite sure where the best place to hear their music is. I chose this Reverb Nation. But they're also on Spotify. So I think they put out a record in 2019 on Spotify, and you can go ahead and check that out for sure. Just type in Hypersloth and that'll get you there. But yes, the guitar work is amazing in this band. And then right in the middle is going to be Othrys. And Othrys just put out a record today, Friday, September 9th. And it actually just arrived streaming. I was lucky enough at rehearsal to get a copy of the CD, and it is going to be their CD release show on the 30th. And really, for that matter, it's actually going to be Henry's Child release show too, because we've never had the CD playing in Eugene. But the Othrys record is great. I am not like a super heavy metal kind of person, and I love this record. In fact, I think that track number 2, Resist, is probably the best song that I've heard on it. But I won't be able to play anything today, but this is going to be out streaming today, Friday the 9th of September. Check it out. Also, too, Sebastian Phoenix was early on one of the podcast sort of victims that we had back on 420 of all times, 2018. So it's episode 15 of this podcast where we sit down and talk music with Sebastian. And then finally, before Henry's Child, is going to be Minor Anomaly. And these guys released a record called To See the Beauty in 2021. And the songs North Dakota and Perfect Answers are my favorite songs from this. And we've actually been booked with these guys a couple times, and we've never been able to play. So hopefully this is like going to really happen this time. Minor Anomaly, these guys are awesome. They've been in other bands, were kind of mid-valley bands that did really well. And so I'm very, very excited to play with these guys. Zach and Floyd. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really cool to play with these guys. So starting next week, I'm going to play music from these bands, Hypersloth, Othris, and Minor Anomaly. If anybody's got any sad reason, please send it my way. I'd be happy to throw on one of their takes from Guitars Under the Stars or where they've actually played. So yeah, let's get that music up there and out there and going for sure. Really quick, I wanted to make mention of something. If you're ever interested in concert posters, I always put a link down here at the bottom on the live shows page at the very bottom before all the socials that opens up into the printable version of the poster for whatever show that we're at. And if you've missed some concerts and want to get those, let me know. I'd be happy to curate them and put up the PDFs that we use to actually print them out to be able to put up the flyers. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great show. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not on our newsletter list, go to the Henry's Child website, scroll down to where it says free music and enter your first name, email address, and hit the download button, and that will get you on the list. So thanks again. That concludes episode 76. And I'll talk to you soon.
It came out my mouth.